Hey everybody, Joe Coffey here for PremierGuitar.com. We're hanging out at NAMM 2010, checking out new stuff from Taylor Guitars, and I've got the man himself right here with me, Bob Taylor. Bob, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming by.
Good to see you again. Hey, this is an amazing guitar you're playing here. This is the new Baritone 8-string. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about this guitar. This last year we decided to develop a baritone, and we have a 6-string version of it. But along the way we started thinking, you know, we'd play that guitar a little bit, and it's low and it's deep and it does what a baritone does. But then you kind of tire of it after a while because it's not up in that same timbre that a normal guitar is. We landed on 2 strings, an octave on, I'll call it the D and the G string, you know, even though it's not D's and G's. But these 2 octaves are still, they basically bring that right up into the timbre of a normal guitar. Takes the whole thing down so you've got all the low end. The 8-string part, excuse me, it's brilliant. It just makes the whole guitar completely cool and usable.
I got to tell, I don't know how much of this is picking up with our mic system here. We got a 57 and a 58, and it looks like a Bose L1, and YouTube compression, obviously. So I'll just translate for you. It sounds amazing, and that low end is so thick.
It's like you got, it's not piano-like. It's like you got a pipe organ at the bottom of this thing. You know, so. If you want to just stay up on the top strings, it almost sounds like a normal guitar. And then you got the whole baritone, kind of the bass thing. Players are digging it, and it's kind of takes that baritone idea from something that is this occasional guitar to a guitar that really could be played as a main guitar.
Well, thank you so much for sending us one early. To read more about it, our acoustic editor, Gayla Drake Paul, she loved it as well. You can read that in Premier Guitar. You can find that online at PremierGuitar.com.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done any signature models with anybody, but you know, Jason Mraz has been playing Taylor's kind of since his very first hits. He's a San Diego guy, and we've known him for a long, long time. But a couple of years ago, he took to our nylon string guitars. And, you know, 99.9% of people in America play steel string. But Jason kind of really found a real spot in his music for nylon. And almost everything that you've heard from Jason for the last couple of years has been written, recorded, and performed on his nylon. So he's almost exclusively nylon right now. And he's digging that whole thing. So when you're listening to Jason, you're listening to a Taylor NS a lot. We started, you know, we contact him and go, you know, it's so cool that you're playing this thing. Maybe we could get that word out to more people because there's so many cool things you can do with nylon. In fact, for a steel string player, just having a nylon that they can play that's not a classic guitar, you know, more of a hybrid like what we make, kind of breathes new life into probably a third of the repertoire because some of that stuff sounds great with nylon.
So it may be coming back too. I know Zach Brown is doing a lot with it.
Yeah, Zach Brown's a big Taylor nylon user, and he's, you know, you see that bluegrass music and that, you know, that kind of hybrid country cool stuff that he's doing, and there's nylon string going on. So anyways, we've got some just real neat cosmetic features on this. Jason's into studying astrology, and so we did like a real kind of cool, hip, artistic version. Larry Breedlove interpreted all of these astrological signs, and they're all inlaid in wood around here. Every time we do something that's kind of significant to an artist, or they have something that's meaningful, we try our best to do just a real artistic impression of that, so that even if you didn't know these were astrology symbols, it still just looks beautiful in and of itself. And then he's got his, you know, Be Love motto, his eternal circle with body, soul, spirit triangle in it and stuff, and it's a pretty cool thing. Dave Matthews has been playing Taylor's 914 CE with the Cindy inlay, kind of that old school 914 CE, and his is almost getting to Willie Nelson status, you know, he's just about worn right through the top. But we worked with Dave a lot, and he thought it would be a cool thing if his fans could get a guitar. So he put his Grux logo and his crown on it, and a couple of symbols that he thought was neat. And again, we just kind of tried to do artistic impressions of all that. So we've got this Dave Matthews model, and I'm sure there's a lot of Dave Matthews fans out there like it, but you know, straight up 914 CE, you can't really argue with that. It's kind of like 814 CE, 514 CE, 914 CE. Probably 80% of the people that think of a Taylor guitar, their mind, that's the mental picture, is that grand auditorium. Stephen Curtis Chapman, a lot of us are big fans of Stephen. I've known Stephen for, I mean, I can't even say, 25 years or something. He had a 510 of ours that he got before I ever met him, before I ever heard anything of him, and he's been playing that throughout the years. And he's been playing Taylors kind of as a main axe for a long, long, long time. And we did a little guitar with him to kind of commemorate his daughter's life. So many of us know the tragic story of him losing his daughter. And this was artwork that she drew. These were her scribbles on with crayons on paper, and we interpreted that and got it onto the guitar. You know, it's a B and her C and that type of thing, and kind of all based around, you know, a cool little guitar that Grand Auditorium that Jason's been playing. I mean that Stephen's been playing for such a long time.
All right, Bob. The first thing that pops out at me here is the Grit-Laskin curve on this.
You know, years ago I saw the first guitar that Grit. Well, I don't know if this, the first guitar I ever saw with this was a Grit-Laskin guitar. And he's really the one who invented this whole idea. His is a little bit different style than ours, because his scoops out and ours just feathers out. But if anybody out there listening to this doesn't know who Grit-Laskin is, go to gritlaskinguitars.com and check it out. One of the greatest guitar builders alive. Wonderful. Anyways, I asked him, hey, can we borrow this idea of yours and make kind of a Taylor version of it? And he was very happy to say yes. And so we're offering that in our build-to-order program. We're looking at actually a build-to-order guitar. This is one that has got, you know, just some special inlays on it, the armrest. And the interesting thing about this guitar is it's based off a new model that we're doing, which is our Grand Concert, but it's a 12 fret to the body neck. Normally 14 frets is where it meets, but the old school guitars used to meet up here. Classical guitars meet at the 12th fret, and then the 14 fret neck became popular. But the interesting thing is guitars sound different with a 12 fret neck, because the bridge moves back the distance of these two frets. And once that bridge gets more into the middle of the body, this guitar sounds unbelievable. I think I'm as thrilled about this as I am the 8-string baritone, because it takes a guitar that was small, kind of had a high-pitched timbre to it. It was nice, but it was tight, and all of a sudden it loosened the whole thing up, and it becomes really warm, really warm and rich on the low end. And I would say it's probably 20% louder too.
So the build-to-order thing, it's like a buffet. You put on your plate what you want and what you like, and build it the way you want it.
It's unbelievable. I think we brought 45 build-to-order guitars to the show, and every one of them is a total custom guitar, because we've got a zillion models of guitars to start with, and all these different cool woods. And so these guitars are, you build them by saying, I'd like this, 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 this. You start with a body shape and a wood and what kind of binding and what kind of inlay and what kind of finish. And you could truly customize a guitar just to your own liking. It's really neat. I think we built 700 build-to-order guitars last year. But if we see something that we've had experience isn't going to work right or look right, we just guide people through that whole thing. And, you know, sometimes if someone wants real exotic wood, they say, hey, I love cocobolo, but I like the cocobolo with the white sapwood, and I want some swirl in it. You know, we can get down in there. We've emailed people pictures. Here's 3 sets. You know, which one do you want? And they're like, I want that set there. And we're finding dealers are also doing build orders just for their store stock. So a lot of times a dealer, you'll go in, they might have 2 or 3 totally cool guitars. Like kind of when you go into a Harley dealer and they've got a few custom bikes that they've put together that's a little bit different than the standard line, and you just fall in love with them.
Bob, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks for coming by. And if people want to find out more, they can go to taylorguitars.com and find out a lot more stuff about the line, and visit your dealers. They've got great guitars in stock.
Fantastic.
All right.
I'm Joe Coffey. You're watching PremierGuitar.com.